Yeah.
So, were you able to find time to practice?
I'm just doing now.
Okay. So, are you running into any issues, any questions that you might have?
I have so many.
Okay.
So which means like only when I do things I get to understand or end
Yeah.
up with issues.
Okay.
So I've just started doing things.
Right.
Yeah. So far, let me see.
So, did you look up that exploit that I talked about? The one that earlier we ran with Metasploit?
The FTP one, right?
Yes.
Exploit DB. No, I didn't check
No?
through.
Then check it. Okay. And I think yesterday I might have mentioned this basic pen testing machine that after Metasploitable, that is what I'm going to cover.
Yeah, I downloaded and I installed that.
Okay. So with Metasploitable, we've covered a lot of things. There's nothing else that we can do with it.
Hmm.
So we have exploited FTP. We have, you know, exploited other services,
Yeah.
connected to the root shell directly, access the system via VNC. So we've tried a few things, or actually we've tried a lot of things with respect to just one single system. There's not
Hmm.
really much that you can do on a single system,
Hmm.
because again there is no.
This is how we usually used to use Metasploit to get through that. So whenever we get to find some vulnerabilities, then we go search Metasploit.
Yeah, you search Metasploit, but uh, for this course after Metasploitable, I'm not going to be using Metasploit on any of the machines that we will cover.
Okay.
Like even for
Mm-hmm.
the basic pen testing that I'm talking about, even there I'm not going to use this Metasploit,
Mm-hmm.
because in a real penetration test, okay, you are pressed for time, then you can use this Metasploit, because it makes your work easier. It automates some things for you. So in that case, you can use it. That's not an issue. But while we are learning, while we're trying to pick up things, we're not hard pressed for deadlines and stuff. That okay, I have to generate a report. I have to do everything. No, for now we are just going to learn without Metasploit, because that's the better way to do things. Metasploit is easy to use, anyone can use that, but learning to do things without it, that's what we will try to focus on. And
Yeah.
of course, you will run into situations where Metasploit will not be able to assist you. So that is also something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Like, do we have anything that's not in there with
Okay,
Metasploit? Then
for
what do
that
we do?
VS FTPD, the FTP exploit,
Hmm.
okay, I'll give you 5 minutes right now to try and search for how you can exploit it manually. It's not a complicated process, the exploitation itself. It's quite simple. So try it right now. If
Okay. Let
you
me
have
see
issues
what.
with that, then I'll cover it in class. And I'll move on to the next system, because from today onwards, we'll not be using Metasploitable, then I'll shift to another, that basic PT machine.
Or
Okay.
let me see what I get.
Yeah.
Just went through that exploit DB
Hmm?
website which you gave,
Okay.
and I could see a lot of denial of service and codes and scripts they have given.
Hmm. Yeah, but you can search for the particular thing that you want, the particular exploit that you require, and search for it.
Yeah, there are like listings coming out, but they all have internal scripts written for that.
Okay,
Does that mean like if we use those codes in our system, we would be able to exploit it?
actually, you don't need that code. That was kind of a wild goose chase. You don't need the code to exploit this vulnerability. If you have a server running this VSFTPD, there is a very simple
Hmm.
way to exploit it.
Telnet?
Very simple. No, no, FTP has got nothing to do with Telnet. This particular version VSFTPD, it's easy to exploit. So, okay, take another couple of minutes, try to look it up. Okay, you are going to manually try to exploit it without Metasploit, and try to read up on what happens, how this exploit works. Okay, so it's on port 21 VSFTPD 2.3.4, and this is a list of all the ports that are currently open on Metasploitable.
Interesting. Just saw something where they use Telnet.
Telnet for
Yeah.
exploiting VSFTPD.
Yeah. They've just used Telnet IP address with port number and then
Hmm.
username and password. Blank.
Okay.
That's how I could find it.
Okay. Okay. See, basically, what this exploit does is when you try to log into the FTP service, if you enter a special
Mm-hmm.
character after the username,
Mm. Mm.
it opens up a shell on port 6200. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah.
Currently, that
And
port is closed. It's not in the list of open ports. You can see
this, yeah,
after
yeah,
6,000,
that's
we have directly
6200, right?
6600. Okay. So it's not open currently. Let me try to connect FTP to that IP. It's asking me for a user, so I can simply add user and this kind of
Yeah,
smiley face,
that's
password,
what I said.
pass.
Pass.
Okay, now
And then some escape character, something,
I
right?
can try to actually the yeah escape character is also required. Where is okay? So do we still have Metasploit running here? Okay, I can close this. I don't need to keep it running. Password and it actually says to wait a few seconds,
Yeah.
but it's not doing anything here.
Fire
Let's
up and
try to connect to port 6200 or we can simply do a scan for that port. Let's see whether it's open.
hmm.
Hyphen P for 6200 and the IP
And the
is
IP
what
address. Yeah.
IP and the port is open.
Hmm.
Okay,
Why
so
wasn't listed in the list?
because that was an earlier list. Okay, this port opened right now after I entered that special character to try and log
Ah.
into FTP.
Hmm. Googling helps.
Oh, now it's telling me that the connection is refused. Okay, what if I try running the scan again? Now it's closed.
Oh.
So I'll simply try to do the same thing again with the FTP. Okay, so user password simply you can enter pass and try running an nmap scan again. It's open, connect, and okay, it's refusing the connection for some reason. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, what could be the reason? I mean, I have zero idea on the network and stuff. So, what's the
actually
difference between FTP and Telnet?
FTP and Telnet. Okay, so they are different protocols and the purpose is different actually. FTP is file transfer protocol.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you set up an FTP server on your system, then
Hmm.
you can host some files
Hmm.
that can be accessed at like you can select what kind of like what different files that you want to set up and you can allow people to download stuff over
Hmm.
your FTP service. So that's what FTP is used for. And if you talk about uh, this telnet, telnet is used to remotely connect to a service. Like let's say I have a system,
Hmm.
I can remotely connect to the get a terminal shell on that system by connecting via telnet. Now, of course, I would need to have a user account on that system, and I need to know the password for it.
Hmm.
SSH is just a secure version of telnet. So SSH stands for secure shell. Using
Yeah.
SSH,
Yeah.
all your communication is encrypted. With telnet, that is not the case.
Hmm.
Okay, so with the okay, that's the thing to keep in mind. Okay, yeah, there's I think there's one mistake that I'm making here. This should be the same. Pass should be the same. And in this case, let me try connecting using telnet. Maybe NatCat is not appropriate for this. Port number is 6200. Okay, so telnet is allowing us to connect to that system on port 6200.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what, like, they had Telnet and we were using FTP. So like, what could be the differences? What my question
FTP,
was.
see, you need to use FTP. You need to try and log into FTP.
Hmm.
Specific, special. It's just like an emoji with your username. That is what triggers this port
Connection
62. Yeah,
support. Yeah.
opens up port 6200.
Hmm.
Okay, ID
Hmm.
one not found. Okay, now ID we are root and we can run some
Hmm.
commands here. But again, this would not be my preferred way of hacking into Metasploitable because actually Metasploitable simply has a service running called Metasploitable root shell. I can simply use netcat and connect here.
Hmm.
But of course, when you hack into a system, you do whatever you need to get shells there.
Yeah. It's just not like you have to try, practice, Google, find things.
Exactly. That is
Yeah.
something that you have to use throughout this field, in whatever you do. That's
Hmm.
the kind of approach you need to take. Okay, so never be, what?
Actually, when I start things, it just flows by. At least we try to Google, do it, try things, and it'll be much more interesting. But just trying to find time to sit is the main thing.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's a lot of stuff to do. So,
So then,
but you know,
it's like year end. Our office stuff is like too much busy. They are keeping us.
okay, and again, those are
Let's
some
see.
situations that are unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about that. You know.
Oh, very true.
Okay. Now for Metasploitable, I have basically covered everything I needed to.
Hmm.
I'll also try to start with the next one. Hmm. Okay, so I'm just letting it boot up, and then I'll start with it. Okay, so now that that system is up,
It says Marlin Spike.
yeah, that's one of the user accounts on that system, and the password is, as of now, it's unknown to us.
Mhm.
But of course, that's something that we're going to figure out. So as long as you're able to boot it up, it's running, you're getting that screen, that login screen, that's fine. You don't have to do anything on that system. Everything will be done from our Kali or Parrot, whatever you're using.
Yeah.
Everything will be
Okay.
done from this machine itself. Now, we need to first find out the IP for that device.
Hmm.
So to find the IP, we can use this net discover. The interface is okay. Let me check what interface I'm using. Yeah, interface would be okay. Ethernet 0. There is net discover.
So this net discover command should work for Kali as well, right?
Yes, interface is Ethernet 0, and I don't think that's enough. Okay, I'll run as root. Don't worry. The range is 10.0.2.1/24. We will be root. Okay, so it'll try to find out the IP address, and it's telling me that the
The
scan.
range we are providing 10.0.2, right? Is
Hmm.
that something specific to your network?
Yes, is it's specific to the IP address that I'm using. Okay, I'll try using a separate range. Actually, I'll try using a separate notation. So /16, because I'm on the private. This is one of the ranges used by. Okay, this is one of the private IP address ranges which are used by networks. Now, in my this Linux system, I have two interfaces. One is host only, and other is this NAT. So for the NAT, of course, I'm not going to get the connection, but for the host only one, oh wait, uh, okay, yeah, actually, I need uh, to shift this device onto that connection. I'll just stop this for now. 10.0.2.3, although that is an IP that I haven't seen before, so I'll still run a scan, see what it means. It says it's down. Oh, sorry. Uh, this is what I meant to do actually. So this is probably not the device that we need. I think okay. Yeah, the network is configured slightly incorrectly on this basic PT machine. I'll just configure that, and then we should be able to get the result. So basic PT access. They were actually on different networks. That's why I couldn't access. So I need
Okay.
to get them on the same network, and okay, that should work. Okay, so the system is up again. Let me run the scan again. Okay, let's see whether this picks up something this time. Okay, finished. For some reason, the /16 notation never seems to work here. Sorry, /24 never seems to work here. Okay, now we have a new IP address, and I suspect that this is the IP that we are
Mm-hmm.
looking for. I'll stop the scan now. I'll run a quick nmap scan for this with OS detection as well. Okay, requires root privileges. No problem. Okay, so it's a VirtualBox Mac and it's a general purpose device running Linux. Okay, this is the IP that we need 10.0.2.246. So this is the IP of the system that we are attacking. Now, as we can see, there are three services here: FTP, SSH, and HTTP. Okay. Now, whenever you see an FTP service, okay, you can try to access it with the username of anonymous and the same thing as a password. Okay. Uh, so this is configured to not take anonymous logins. Okay. Okay, I'll continue this in the next session tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll see further how to proceed with this machine.
Yeah.
If you have any questions from the session, you can ask.